Hello, everybody. Welcome here to Financial Africa website. We have the pleasure to meet the CEO of Rwanda Finance Limited, Mr. Nick Barigye. How are you, Nick Barigye?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yes. So, how you can present today Rwanda Finance Limited project?
Good morning to you and to our audience. My name is Nick Barigye. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Rwanda Finance. And Rwanda Finance is the company responsible for promoting Kigali International Financial Centre. I would want to first draw some context that Africa's funding needs are greater than ever, and they are largely concerned with long-term financing. And it's important to note that these funding needs relate to infrastructure, to climate change, to demographic change, and to social needs. For example, Africa's infrastructure gap alone is estimated at $93 billion by the World Bank. Now, with that context, at Kigali International Financial Centre, we have three overall arching goals. One, to provide a platform for investments and the resources needed to drive entrepreneurship and economic growth across industries and communities. Two, to position Rwanda as a preferred jurisdiction for investments into Africa, and while creating alternatives for mobilizing capital, thus reducing the reliance on traditional avenues. Three, Kigali International Financial Centre is aiming to become a leading financial centre for Pan-African investment. We are aiming to promote a safe, compliant, and pro-business financial environment. I think really, Mr. Adama, our value proposition is about three things in a nutshell. One, for our global audience and international investors. One, Pan-African connectivity. Two, a financial center that is transparent and compliant to international standards. And three, an international financial center that guarantees the ease of operations. That's what Kigali International Financial Center is about.
Yes. So the position is Pan-African.
Absolutely. And we really need to put this into the context of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area that is aiming to facilitate investments and trade and mobility of labor. So Kigali International Financial Center is one of, to the government of Rwanda, one of the avenues of really operationalizing the Africa Continental Free Trade Area.
Okay, so that's why, for example, in your board, we have a lot of citizens from every country in Africa.
That's true, and I feel you're speaking to Rwanda's visa regime. At the moment, we guarantee visas on arrivals to citizens of member countries of AU, La Francophonie, and the Commonwealth. That is around 100 countries. So that's how open our economy is. But beyond that, we have put in place other structural incentives such as free movement of capital, no restrictions on capital repatriation, no foreign exchange restrictions, and all these are aimed at facilitating trade not only in Rwanda but across Africa.
Okay, so what are the advantages of Kigali Finance Center over Casablanca, Mauritius, and other financial centers?
Very important question. Again, to our global audience and international investors, my message is this. When you look at the global ranking of financial centers index, Africa as a continent, its size is almost 3 times the size of Europe. When you look at the global ranking of financial centers index, Europe as a continent has more than 25 international financial centers. When you look at the same index, Africa as a continent has not more than 5 international financial centers. Now, what does that say? It says that in Africa, a continent that is awash with opportunities needs financial centers that facilitate investments, that facilitates trade. So our approach at Kigali International Financial Centre, it's not what advantage Kigali International Financial Centre has over Casablanca or Mauritius, but rather how can we collaborate with existing international financial centers that are located in Africa so that we can serve the investment needs. We believe that there is need for not only 1, 2, 3, but there is need for international financial centers in West Africa, in East Africa, in Southern Africa, and in Northern Africa, so that we can have a network of African financial centers that facilitate international investment. Concretely to that, it's part of the reason why at Kigali International Financial Centre, we've chosen to be member of the World Alliance of International Financial Centers. We have existing memorandum of understanding with Casablanca Financial City Authority, with Belgian Financial Centre, and Jersey Finance Centre, because we believe that if we work together, if we cooperate, then there is opportunity to exchange on best practices. There is opportunity to ensure that we are offering quality services to international investors. So that's really our message, and that's our approach.
Okay, so what are the incentives offered by Rwanda to investors, startups, and SMEs?
Rwanda grants investors an extensive array of incentives. As mentioned, we have no restrictions on foreign exchange. We have no restrictions on foreign ownership. We have no restrictions on capital repatriation. But concretely, when it comes to Kigali International Financial Centre, we have tax-based incentives that speak to not more than between a range of 3 to 15 when it comes to corporate income tax. We have no withholding on passive income. But beyond that, again, I want to say that beyond tax, the value proposition for Kigali International Financial Centre is around 3 things. 1, ease of operations, which is extremely important. 2, transparent and compliant jurisdiction. And 3, Pan-African connectivity. That's what Kigali International Financial Centre, together with the tax incentive that we offer in both investors, startups, and SMEs.
Okay, so is there a specific program for African investors?
We don't have a specific program for African investors. As mentioned, Rwanda is an open economy. We are not ring fencing to say these are incentives for international investors, these are incentives for African investors, or these are incentives for local investors. We are an open economy. We are saying we are offering an environment that is transparent, that is conducive, that facilitates global trade, that facilitates global investments, and these investments will have an impact on both the local economy and to the African markets. That's what Kigali International Financial Centre is about.
Okay, so what about young talents from Africa or from around the world who want to settle in Kigali or in Rwanda?
My message to the young talents in Africa and outside Africa. In Rwanda, we say, Murakaza murisanga. You are most welcome to Rwanda. That's very important to communicate. We are saying to them that we need the next generation of global investors and financiers. We are saying to them that we are working to promote and upskill young talent in Rwanda and outside Rwanda. But beyond that, we have global institutions in Rwanda. Examples are Carnegie Mellon, African Leadership University, And all these institutions are in Rwanda to attract the young talent to study in Rwanda, to work in Rwanda. But those who are already qualified, again, our message to them is you are most welcome. I gave an example of Rwanda's visa regime where I say that more African Union member countries, Commonwealth countries, La Francophonie countries can receive visas on arrival without paying any visa fees for the next 30 days. But we have targeted visa policies, and I would want to draw your example to three of them. One, to foreign entrepreneurs, innovative foreign entrepreneurs. They are eligible to a 2-year visa if they are starting up a business in Rwanda. That's one. Two, to international students who have studied in international schools in Rwanda. On completion, they are eligible to a 2-year visa if they want to continue working in Rwanda. That's second. Third, if you have, and this now speaks to those outside Rwanda, if you have a professional skill, you are eligible to a 2-year visa that allows you to live and work in Rwanda. That's our value proposition to the young generation. Those already in Rwanda and those outside Rwanda, outside Africa, they are most welcome to Rwanda.
Yes.
We have really a visa regime that is conducive for them.
Yes. The message is that Rwanda is an open country for investors and the citizens from Africa and the rest of the world. But now, do you think that the continental free trade area will have a success with a project like Rwanda Finance Limited? And do we have to build a network across all the Africa to have, for example, more and more free zone places?
What I can say to you is that when we look at the successes already recorded, for example, we have an investor who specializes in health sector. They are cross-listed on Johannesburg and they are listed on the Rwanda Stock Exchange. Now we're saying that Kigali International Financial Centre is that platform that facilitates of capital and investments. We want to see more of those cases. We are seeing global investors that are coming from Canada and are setting up holding structures in Rwanda. We are seeing investors who are coming from Germany and they are setting up fund structures that are targeted to the health, to the education sector. So, true to your question, in order to implement the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, as mentioned, 5 international financial centers in Africa are too few. We need more that have specialization. Kigali International Financial Centre is looking to be the center that facilitates sustainable finance. It's the center that is looking to be a center for SME financing as well as fintech. Maybe another center will say, let's specialize in another product. Let's specialize in fund structuring. So that's what we need to see emerging on the African continent.
Yes. So the last question, what are your goals in 2021?
Right now, we are saying to global investors, we are open for business. We are saying to investors, our value proposition is hinged on 3 things: compliance and transparency, ease of operations, Pan-African connectivity. We are already onboarding investors that are coming. We have the final icing on the cake, which is going to be the official launch of Kigali International Financial Centre during the Commonwealth Heads of State Summit that is hosted by Rwanda in late June 2021. So my message again to global investors, you're most welcome to Rwanda. We're giving you an environment that is conducive, that allows you to structure investments in Rwanda and across Africa.
Yes, you are welcome in Rwanda. It's a Barigye, as you said it.
Barakaza murakaza murisanga.
Barakaza muisa. So thank you very much, Nick Barigo. And let me greet to all my friends from Rwanda, and I say them they are welcome to West Africa too.